Lucas, wait, don't go!
I said no. I'm not gonna play the athlete invalid for photo sessions.
Lucas woke to his phone buzzing at 5 in the morning. Unknown number. He declined the call and rolled onto his back, staring at the ceiling of the hospital room. 3 weeks in San Antonio. 21 days without his left leg. 480 hours of phantom pain, his brain screaming about toes that no longer existed. The phone buzzed again. A text. ND, I'm at the airport. I'll be there in 2 hours. He deleted the message before finishing it. Harper, again. Bennett up. Mrs. Dalton knocked on the door. Physical therapy in 20 minutes. I'll skip. No, you won't. She came in without waiting, gray blonde hair, a metal prosthesis in place of her right arm. Former military surgeon, now head nurse. Lucas was used to her bluntness, but today he had nothing left. Bennett, look at me. He didn't turn his head. Look at me. Lucas turned his eyes slowly. Mrs. Dalton stood there with her arms crossed, and there was no sympathy in her eyes, only a cold assessment. Your sergeant, Clark, called yesterday, wanted to know how you're doing. None of your business. My business is pushing people like you until they move. Clark is alive because of you. His wife is pregnant with twins. And you're lying here dying by inches because you decided your life ended with your leg. Do not scroll. The best part is next. Subscribe, hit like, and drop a comment. You don't know what you're talking about. I do. I lost my arm in Afghanistan trying to save a soldier who died an hour later. So don't tell me I don't know. Silence. Lucas gripped the sheet. Today you have a choice, Dalton said. Either you get up and go to therapy on your own, or I'll grab a wheelchair, bolt 3 wheels to it, and push you there like a cart from Costco. Choose fast. She left, the door propped open behind her. Lucas closed his eyes. He remembered the last thing he saw before the blast. Clark's face, his shout make it then the flash that turned the world into pain. The phone buzzed again. Do not reply. I'm coming anyway, Andy. He tossed the phone in the nightstand and sat up, slowly. His crutches waited by the bed. He pulled them close and began to stand. The hallway seemed longer than usual. Harper saw him through the glass of the rehab room. He stood between the parallel bars, gripping the rails, trying to take a step. His face was tight, his mouth a hard line. The therapist was saying something, but Lucas wasn't looking at him. She didn't go in right away. She just stood and watched as her childhood friend, the boy who had pulled them both out of a riptide when they were 12, fought to simply step forward. The door opened and Mrs. Dalton came out of her office. You Harper? Yes. He doesn't want to see you. I know. Then why'd you come? Harper pulled a notebook from her backpack, opened to a tab, and showed Dalton a page. A drawing of a prosthetic with labeled parts, angle calculations, notes. I'm finishing a prosthetics residency. He's my friend, and I'm not going to let him disappear. Dalton smiled for the first time that morning. Go on in, but be ready for him to tell you to go to hell. He already has. Back in school, when I told him he was an idiot if he enlisted. And what'd he say? That I was an idiot if I didn't understand why he had to. Harper pushed the door open. Lucas caught her with his peripheral vision. He went rigid. He didn't turn. Lucas. Silence. Look at me. Go home, Harper. No. He let go of the bar and turned, balancing on his crutches. She stood in the doorway, jeans, a gray hoodie, hair tied back. Her face looked tired, but her eyes were bright. She carried a folder. I didn't ask you to come. I didn't ask permission. I don't need your pity. Good. I didn't bring any. She stepped up, set the folder on a bench, and opened it. 3 pages of printouts, prosthetic models, statistics, a list of centers. This isn't about pity, it's biomechanics. You lost the leg below the knee. Your knee still functions. That means your mobility can be restored to about 90% with the right socket fit and adaptation. Lucas stared at her. You flew halfway across the country to read me Wikipedia. I flew here because you've ignored my calls for 3 weeks, because your co-messaged my brother that you're refusing visitors, because I know what you're doing. What am I doing? Drifting. The word fell between them like a stone. Lucas dropped his eyes. You don't understand. Then explain. I saved Clark. He's alive. And I lost my leg. Everybody says I'm a hero. But when I look at myself, all I see is what isn't there. Harper moved closer. Her voice was softer, but steadier. You know what drifting is? The current carries you, and you don't fight it. Remember the boy, Lucas, who held the rope? Harper. Who held it? Silence. I did. And what were you shouting to me? Don't drift. Exactly. So now it's my turn to hold the rope. She pulled a marker from her pocket and wrote, in big letters, on his crutch, ND. I'm staying a month. You don't have to talk to me. You don't have to do anything. But I'll be here every day, and when you're ready, we'll talk. Lucas looked at the letters, then at her. Why? Because you'd do the same. She picked up the folder and headed for the door. At the threshold, she turned. One more thing. I don't pity you. I'm just not letting go. The door closed. Lucas stood alone in the room, staring at the 2 letters on his crutch. ND. Mrs. Dalton watched from her office. She smiled and went back to her paperwork. Harper took a room at a motel 2 miles from the hospital. The place was small, a bed, a desk, a window looking out on the parking lot. She tossed her bag onto a chair and sat down, opening her laptop. Email. 17 unread from Professor Chang, her residency director. The latest 2 hours ago. Harper, I understand the situation, but a month is critical. You're missing 3 surgeries and the final seminar. I need an answer. She closed that and opened her drafts. Her phone rang. Her brother, Caleb. Hey. How is he? Caleb's voice was tight. He doesn't want to talk. Were you expecting something else? No, but seeing him like that, she trailed off. Ha, you've always been stubborn. So has he. Sooner or later, one of you will break through the wall. I hope so. Harper, what about the residency? She didn't answer right away. I don't know. Chang says I'm risking everything. Are you ready to take that risk? He saved a life, Caleb, and I'm supposed to leave because I have a seminar. You're not responsible for what happened to him. I know, but if I don't help, who will? Caleb was quiet. Then, be careful, with him and with yourself. She hung up and went to the window. Dusk had fallen. Somewhere out there, in the hospital, Lucas was lying on his back, staring at the ceiling. She knew it. That night, Lucas didn't sleep. The phantom pain returned at 3 burning sensations in toes that weren't there. He clenched his fist and breathed through his teeth until it eased. A new message from Harper lit his phone. Breakfast at 8 at the cafe across from the hospital. If you want to come, come. If not, I'll eat for 2. ND. He didn't reply. But at 8, while Harper sat over a cup of coffee with her notebook, the door opened. Lucas came in on his crutches, slow, eyes down. He made his way to her table and sat. I'm not promising to talk, he said. Okay, Harper answered, sliding the menu toward him. Then order something good. They sat in silence. The server brought Lucas a coffee, Harper some pancakes. She ate without looking at him, jotting notes in her notebook. After 5 minutes, Lucas spoke. What are you writing? Notes. Ideas for your prosthesis. Harper, I'm not. Ready? I know. But when you are, it'll already be here. He watched her. The notebook, her hands holding the pen with that fearless steadiness, like everything was under control. How do you do that? He asked quietly. Do what? Not be scared. Harper looked up. Who said I'm not scared? I'm scared every day. Scared I'll make a mistake, that someone will get hurt because of me, that I won't be in time. But fear doesn't stop me, because stopping is worse. And if I can't, you can, you just don't know how yet. Lucas turned away. An ambulance rolled past the window. Harper finished her coffee and closed the notebook. Tomorrow at 9, I'm meeting with Mrs. Dalton. She promised to show me the rehab programs. If you want, come. If not, I'll still come the day after. She stood, left cash on the table, and walked out. Lucas sat there a long time, staring into his cup. Harper got back to the motel late after a 12-hour meeting with the doctors. She fell onto the bed without changing and shut her eyes. The phone rang at 1 in the morning. Lucas. She snatched it up. Lucas. Silence. Then his voice low, fragile. Can you come? Her heart hammered. I'm on my way. She dressed in a minute, grabbed her keys, and drove. The hospital was asleep. The guard nodded. By now they knew Harper. She climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor and eased Lucas's door open. He sat on the bed with his back to the wall, arms around his knees. The light was off, except for the night lamp in the hall. Hey, she whispered. Hey. Harper came in and sat on the edge of the bed, not too close, just near. What happened? The dream. Again, I see it all and I can't stop it. How many times a night? 3, 4, I don't count. She offered her hand without a word. He looked at it, then took it. His palm was cold, his fingers shaking. Lucas, this isn't your fault. I know, I just don't feel that. What do you feel? Silence. Lucas squeezed her hand harder. Empty, like a part of me vanished. And I don't mean the leg. I mean who I was. That Lucas died out there in the sand. And this one, I don't know who he is. Harper shifted closer. Their shoulders touched. Listen to me. You didn't die. You changed. Those are not the same thing. How can you know? Because I can see you. Not what's missing. What's here. You're still the man who enlisted because you believed it mattered. The man who saved another person's life. No one can take that from you. Lucas turned his head and looked at her. In the dark, her face was only an outline, but her eyes caught the light. Why are you doing this? He asked softly. Doing what? Staying. After everything. Harper hesitated. Then, because you're not just a friend to me. A beat. What do you mean? What I've never said out loud. What I knew back in school when you enlisted. I was mad at you not because I didn't understand. I was mad because I understood too well. You chose duty, I chose you. But I kept quiet because I was afraid of ruining what we had. Silence. Lucas let go of her hand. Harper, I can't. Right now, I can't. I know. I'm not saying it to change anything. I just want you to know the truth. Why I'm here. Why I'm staying. She stood, but he caught her wrist. Don't go. Lucas, please, stay, at least till morning. Harper looked at him, nodded. She sat in the chair by the bed and pillowed her head on her arms. Lucas lay back slowly, his eyes on the ceiling. After a few minutes, his breathing evened out. Harper didn't sleep. She just watched him breathe. Watched the hallway light lay across his face. In the morning, when he woke, she was still there. A week later, Lucas put on a temporary prosthesis for the first time. A plastic socket with soft padding, a basic foot, no spring, just support. He stood between the parallel bars in the rehab room. Harper and Mrs. Dalton off to the side, the therapist behind him. His whole body was tight. Lucas, breathe, Harper said. I am. No, you're holding your breath. In, out, again. He did as she said. Air filled his lungs. His hands unclenched. Now one step, just one. Lucas shifted his weight onto the prosthesis. The sensation was alien pressure without feeling, support without control. He tried to lift his right leg and fell. The therapist grabbed him. It's okay. First time. we'll try again." Lucas shoved him away and edged to the wall. His breathing was rough. His hands shook. "No, I'm done." Harper walked over. "Lucas, this is normal. You're not used to it yet. It takes time." "How much time, Harper? A month? A year? I can't even take a step." "You just put it on for the first time. No one expects." "I expect it," he exploded. "I should be able to do this. I should be stronger. But I can't. Not even this." Silence. The therapist backed off. Mrs. Dalton watched from a distance. Harper crouched in front of Lucas. "You know how long it took me to learn to fit a socket right? 2 years. I screwed it up 1,000 times before I made something that worked. You know why? Because learning is mistakes. It's falling. It's repetition, not brute strength, stubbornness. Easy to say when you have both legs. Easy to say when I'm not you. But I can't walk for you, Lucas. No one can. Only you." He looked away. Harper stood. "Enough for today. Tomorrow we try again." "Maybe we shouldn't." "Maybe, but I'll be here anyway." She left. Lucas sat on the floor, looking at the prosthesis, then at his hands. Mrs. Dalton came over and sat beside him. "Want to hear a story?" Lucas didn't answer. "When I lost my arm, I refused a prosthesis for the first 3 months. Said I wasn't going to play make-believe recovery. Said I was only real with what was left. You know what my husband told me?" "What?" "That he didn't marry an arm. He married me. And if I wanted to quit, he was there. But if I wanted to fight, he was there too. The choice was mine." "And what did you choose?" "I chose to live. Not like before. Differently. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done." Lucas looked at her. "What if I can't?" "You can. You're already here. You already tried. That's more than it seems." She stood and offered her left hand, the living one. Lucas took it and got up. "Tomorrow we'll try again," Dalton said. "But today, go rest." Lucas nodded and made his way toward the door. Harper waited in the hall. "Want a ride back to your room?" "I'll make it." "Okay." They walked in silence. At his door, Lucas stopped. "Harper." "Yeah?" "Thank you." "For what?" "For not giving up." She smiled. "Right back at you." He went inside. Harper stood there another minute, then left. 2 weeks later, Lucas took his first 10 steps without the bars. Harper filmed it on her phone and showed him that evening. "Look, your balance is almost perfect." "Almost," Lucas echoed. "Yeah, but it's progress." They sat in the hospital garden. June, heavy heat, the air thick. Harper flipped through her notebook. "Listen, I want to show you something." She pulled a folder. Inside a printed article. "Adaptive sports for veterans. Case study, paratriathlon." "What's this?" "Research on paratriathlon. A sport for people with prosthetics and mobility limits. Swimming, hand cycle, run." I was thinking. "No." "Lucas, wait." I said no. I'm not going to play disabled athlete for a photo op. This isn't about photo ops. It's about having a goal. About moving forward. What if I don't want a goal? Harper closed the folder. I don't buy that. Why not? Because you're the same guy who ran every morning in high school, who said running was how you think. You miss it, Lucas. I know because I can see it. He looked away. I'm not the same. No, but that doesn't mean you can't find something new. Silence. Lucas watched the trees. I'm scared. Of what? That I'll try and fail. That everyone will see me fall on my face. Harper edged closer. And what if you don't fail? He didn't answer. Just think about it. You don't have to decide now. But if you want to try, I'm here. She stood and walked off. Lucas sat another hour, staring at the folder on the bench. Fine, let's try. But if I blow it, you don't get to say, I told you so. She smiled and wrote back. Deal, ND. The first workouts were in the hospital pool. Lucas took off the prosthesis and slid into the water. Harper sat on the edge with a stopwatch in hand. 30 meters. Don't rush. Just swim. He swam. His arms worked, but his body pulled to one side. Without the left leg, his balance was off. He tried to compensate and tired faster. After the first length, he gulped air, holding the edge. It's not working. It is, just differently. You need to use more arms and your core for balance. Easy to say. Then I'll show you. Harper kicked off her sneakers, took off her watch, and jumped in t-shirt and jeans. Lucas stared. What are you doing? Helping. She swam beside him, demonstrating wider strokes, rotation through the torso. Lucas mimicked her. Clumsy at first, then better. When they climbed out, both were soaked and laughing. You're out of your mind, Lucas said, wiping his face. Maybe, but it worked. She wrung out her shirt, water puddling on the tile. Her hair stuck to her cheeks. Lucas looked at her and suddenly realized how close she was. How real. Not an idea from the past, not a memory. A living person standing right there, drenched and smiling. What? Harper asked, catching his look. Nothing. Just thanks. For what? Ruining my jeans? For showing me there's another way. She stopped smiling, looked at him, serious. Lucas, I'm not going anywhere, okay? Even when it's hard, even when you want to quit, I'm staying. Why are you so sure about me? Because I know who you are, and I know you can do more than you think. Silence stretched between them, long, charged. Harper stepped back. I need to change. Tomorrow at 7. Yeah, tomorrow. She headed for the locker room. Lucas stood by the pool, watching the water ripple from their strokes. Something had shifted. He could feel it. He just didn't have a name for it. That evening at the motel, Harper's phone lit up with a call from Professor Chang. Harper, we need to talk. I know. You've been gone 4 weeks. The program can't wait any longer. Either you're back by the end of the month, or I have to give your spot to another resident. Professor, I understand. I just need a little more time. How much? I don't know. A pause. Harper, you're talented. One of the best I've seen. But if you don't return, everything you've built ends. Are you ready to lose that? She looked out the window. Darkness. Hospital lights in the distance. I can't leave him. Even if it costs you your career? Even then. Chang sighed. 1 week. That's all I can give you. After that, your spot goes to someone else. Thank you. He hung up. Harper sat still, phone in her hands. Then she texted Lucas. Tomorrow at 6. We need to work on technique. ND. His reply came a minute later. I'll be there. Thanks for today. She set the phone down and lay back, staring at the ceiling. Sleep wouldn't come. She thought about choice, about what she'd lose if she stayed, and what she'd lose if she left. 3 days later, Lucas was discharged. Mrs. Dalton signed the papers, and Harper waited out front with the car. Where to? Lucas asked as he got in. My place. There's a second room at the motel. I booked it for a week. Harper, you don't have to. Lucas, you need daily rehab. Driving from the base to the hospital is 2 hours each way. Here, it's a 10-minute ride to the pool and 20 to the park for runs. It's just practical. He said nothing. She started the engine. By the way, I'm meeting a paratriathlon coach tonight. His name is Marcus. He's an athlete himself. If you want to come. We'll see. They pulled up to the motel. Harper helped him carry his things. The room was simple: a bed, a table, a TV. She set a folder on the table. Here's the training schedule, addresses, contacts. If you need anything, I'm next door. Okay? Harper looked at him. Do you really want to do this? I don't know, but I'll try. That's enough. She left. Lucas sat on the bed and looked out the window. For the first time in months, he wasn't in a hospital, not in a barracks, just an ordinary place, and he felt lost. His phone buzzed. A message from Sergeant Clark. "Lucas, call me when you can. I want to hear your voice. You saved me. Now let me help you." Lucas wiped his face. He dialed. "Clark?" "Bennett. Damn, finally. How are you?" "I'm alive. Learning to walk. Heard from Dalton. She said you're a fighter. I don't feel like one. Nobody does. But you're holding on. That's what matters." Silence. "Clark, I wanted to say. Don't, I know. And thank you is not enough. But you need to know this, I'm alive. My wife is pregnant. Girls, twins. In 4 months, I'll be a dad. Because of you." Lucas tightened his grip on the phone. "I'm happy for you. When you're ready, come visit. I want you to meet them. I want them to know who their uncle is." "Uncle? What else would you be? Your family, Bennett. For good." They talked for 20 minutes more. When Lucas hung up, he felt different, lighter, as if something pressing inside him had eased a little. That evening, Harper knocked on his door. "Marcus, in an hour. You coming?" "Yes." They drove to a sports center on the edge of town. Marcus turned out to be a man around 40, with a prosthetic right leg and smiling eyes. "Lucas, good to meet you. Harper's told me a lot." They shook hands. Marcus led them into a hall with hand cycles, treadmills, a pool. Paratriathlon isn't about what you can't do. It's about what you can do differently. Swimming's the easiest because the water holds you up. The hand cycle is a matter of technique. The run is the hardest because the prosthesis has to work like a spring, but it's all doable. Lucas looked over the equipment. At the other athletes, some with prosthetics, some in chairs, some missing an arm. Everyone working, sweating, laughing. "How long does it take to get ready?" "For a first start, a year, maybe less if you train every day." "I'm in." Marcus smiled. "Then we start tomorrow." They left at 9 in the evening. Harper drove in silence. When they pulled up to the motel, Lucas didn't get out right away. "Harper." "Yes." "Why are you doing this? For real?" She cut the engine and turned to him. "You want the honest answer?" "Yes." "Because I'm in love with you. I have been since I was 17. When you enlisted, I wanted to scream at you to stay. But I couldn't, because I knew you were going. Because that's who you are. And now that you're here, hurt and lost, I can't stand by. Even if you don't feel the same. Even if it breaks me." Silence. Lucas looked at her. "I don't know what I feel," he said softly. "Everything's tangled. But I know one thing, without you, I wouldn't have gotten up. I wouldn't have tried. I wouldn't have believed I could." "That's not an answer, Lucas." "I know. It's all I have right now." Harper nodded. She got out of the car. Lucas did too. They stood in the parking lot under the yellow wash of the streetlights. "Harper." She turned. He stepped in and hugged her. Hard, long. She froze, then hugged him back. "Thank you," he whispered, "for everything." They stood like that for a few minutes. Then Lucas let go and walked to his room. Harper stood there for a long time, looking at his door. In the night, Lucas couldn't sleep. He lay staring at the ceiling, thinking about Harper's words, about what she had said, about what he felt when he held her. At 2 in the morning, he got up, got dressed, and went out. He knocked on her door. Harper opened it in a t-shirt and shorts, sleepy, hair down. "Lucas, what happened?" "Can I come in?" She stepped aside. He came in and sat on the edge of her bed. "I can't sleep." "Phantom pain." "No. Thoughts." Harper sat beside him. "About what?" "About you. About what you said. About how I can't answer you the way you deserve." "Lucas, I'm not waiting for. Let me say it." She felt quiet. "When I was deployed, the only thing that kept me going was letters. From family, from friends. But yours, I reread them every night, because there was something in them the others didn't have. You didn't write about how you missed me. You wrote about what you were doing, about science, about projects, about how you bombed an exam. And that made me feel like life went on, that there was something bigger than dust and blasts. Harper said nothing. When the explosion happened, my first thought was I won't see them again. My mom, my dad, Caleb, you. And what scared me wasn't the pain. It was that I hadn't said something important, that I'd kept you as just a friend because I was afraid to mess it up, because I didn't know how to love someone and still be a soldier. And now? Now I'm not a soldier. I don't know who I am. But I know that when you're near, the world doesn't seem so terrible. And when I held you today, for the first time in months, I felt whole. He looked at her. I can't promise you a future. I can't tell you everything will be okay. But if you're willing to wait, I'll try to understand what I feel. For real. Harper took his hand. I'll wait. They sat in silence. Then Lucas lay back on the bed, not letting go of her hand. Harper lay beside him, on her back, staring at the ceiling. Will you stay? She asked quietly. Yes. They lay there, not touching, just their fingers entwined. Their breathing evened out. Somewhere outside a car went by. The streetlight painted shadows on the walls. Lucas rolled to his side and looked at her. Harper rolled too. Their faces were only inches apart. Harper. Hush. No words. He touched her face, ran his fingers along her cheek. She closed her eyes. They lay like that for a long time, faces close, breathing slow, hearts pounding. Lucas felt the warmth of her skin, the scent of her hair. He wanted to kiss her, but he was afraid. Afraid it would break something delicate between them. Harper opened her eyes. Don't be afraid, she whispered. He leaned in. Their lips met careful, gentle, like a first time in life. The kiss was brief. But when he drew back, something between them had changed forever. Harper pressed against his chest. Lucas held her. They lay that way until morning, no words, no movement, just together. At dawn, Harper woke first. Lucas slept, his face peaceful. She slipped away, pulled the blanket over him, and went to shower. When he woke, she was at the table with her laptop. Good morning, she said without looking up. Morning. Want breakfast? Yes. They didn't speak about the night, but everything was different. The air thicker, the glances longer, the touches surer. At 8, they drove to practice. Lucas swam 200 meters without stopping. Marcus praised him. Harper smiled. After the workout, already in the car, Lucas asked, "What's next?" Next is the hand cycle. First session the day after tomorrow. No, I don't mean that. I mean us. Harper stopped at a red light and looked at him. I don't know, but I want to find out. Me too. The light changed. They drove on. The next morning, Harper got an email from Professor Chang. Harper, this is a final warning. If you do not return by Friday, your spot will be reassigned. I'm sorry, but the program cannot wait. I hope you understand. She closed the laptop and looked out the window. Friday in 3 days. Lucas knocked on the door. Ready? Training in an hour. Yes, 1 minute. She picked up her phone and wrote to Chang. Professor, I'm not coming back. Thank you for the opportunity. It was a hard decision, but it's the right one. She sent it, turned off her phone, grabbed her bag and walked out. Everything okay? Lucas asked. Yes, let's go. They drove in silence. Lucas could feel something was off, but he didn't ask. At the gym, Marcus demonstrated hand cycle technique, how to crank with your arms, how to distribute the load, how to shift. Lucas settled into the hand cycle and tried it. The first few minutes were clumsy, his arms not cooperating. Then the rhythm came. He cranked, feeling the muscles work, the wind hitting his face. Harper stood off to the side, watching. A smile on her face, sadness in her eyes. After practice, they went to a cafe, ordered coffee, sat without speaking. Harper, what happened? Lucas finally asked. She looked at him. I turned down the residency. What? My professor gave me an ultimatum. Be back by Friday or lose the spot. I chose to stay. Lucas pushed his cup away. Why didn't you tell me? Because you would have tried to talk me into going. Of course I would. Harper, this is your life. Your career. You can't give it up because of me. It's not because of you. It's my choice. A choice that will destroy everything you've worked for. No, a choice that gives me something more important. What could be more important than your dream? Harper held his gaze. You. Silence. Lucas rubbed his face. Harper, you can't. I can, and I already did. I don't regret it. Well, I do. I don't want to be the reason you lose your future. You're not the reason. You're part of my future. What if I'm not good enough for you? What if I fall apart? What if I can't do it? Then we handle it together. Lucas stood. I need to think. He walked out. Harper sat alone, staring into her cup. Lucas walked to a park, sat on a bench by a lake, watched the water. His phone rang. Mrs. Dalton. Bennett, I heard Harper turn down the residency. How do you know? Someone called me. News travels fast. What are you going to do? I don't know. You do. You're just scared. She lost everything because of me. No, she chose you. That's different. The question is, what are you going to choose? What if I'm not enough for her? Bennett, stop thinking about what you're missing. Think about what you can give. She hung up. Lucas sat, staring at the phone. Then he dialed Caleb. Lucas, what's up? Harper turned down her residency because of me. I know. She called today. And what did you tell her? That I've got her back. Because I know my sister. She never does anything she doesn't truly want. If she chose you, that means it's right for her. What if she's wrong? Don't doubt her. Lucas, you're my friend. But if you hurt her, I will show up and kick your other leg off. Clear? Lucas smiled despite himself. Clear. Good. Now go to her and tell her what you feel. For real. He hung up, stood, and headed for the motel. Harper was sitting on the bed when Lucas knocked. It's open. He came in, sat beside her. I'm sorry. For what? For running, for not saying it right away. Saying what? Lucas turned to her. That I'm scared, but I want to try. That when I'm with you, I feel alive. And that your choice is the bravest thing anyone's ever done for me. Harper smiled through tears. Idiot. I know. She hugged him. He pulled her close. We'll handle it, she whispered. Yeah, together. They sat that way for a long time. Then Lucas kissed her long, deep. Harper kissed him back. Their hands intertwined, their breathing quickened. Lucas gently laid her down on the bed. 6 months later, Arizona, November. Lucas stood at the start line, staring at the lake. 200 athletes around him, some warming up, some checking gear. He touched his prosthesis, a new carbon model Harper had spent 3 months dialing in. Light, springy, a perfect fit. Nervous, Harper came up behind him, set a hand on his shoulder. Yes. Good. Means you care. He turned. She wore a t-shirt with ND on it, hair tied back, face serious. Harper, if I don't make the qualifier. Then you try next time. But today, you just do your job. Swim your pace. Hand cycles save your strength. Run last 3 kilometers, you give it everything. Remember? I remember. She hugged him hard. I believe in you. I know. The start signal. Lucas walked to the water, took off his prosthesis and handed it to a volunteer, lined up with his Category 15 men, all with amputations or impairments. A gunshot, a dive. Cold water slapped his face. Lucas swam long strokes, even breathing. Bodies all around, arms, spray. He held his line to the boy without looking around. The first boy rounded it. The second another 300 meters. His shoulders ached, but he didn't let up. He remembered Marcus's words. The swim is about rhythm, not speed. A water exit. He came up the ramp. A volunteer passed him the prosthesis. Lucas had it on in 40 seconds. They had drilled that transition hundreds of times. He ran to the transition area. The hand cycle waited. He settled in, clipped his hands, pushed off. The course 40 kilometers on highway. Strong wind, hard sun. Lucas cranked, his arms burning. He passed one rider, then another. Someone passed him. At the 20-kilometer mark, he saw Harper on the shoulder with a sign, ND. You can do this. He smiled through the pain and pushed harder. Hand cycle finish. Back to transition. He slid out, grabbed the running prosthesis, a different model, with a springy blade. Strapped in, set off. 5 kilometers. Asphalt, heat, fatigue. 2 legs, 1 flesh, 1 carbon moving in rhythm. Lucas breathed hard but steady. He didn't look at a watch. He just ran. In the 3rd kilometer, he passed another runner. In the 4th, he felt the energy draining out. His legs turned to lead. The socket bit into the end of his shin, a sharp pain. He slowed. He remembered Clark, the blast, the darkness. He remembered Harper in the pool wet, smiling, alive. He remembered a boy, a storm, a rope in his hands. Don't drift. Lucas surged. Muscles screamed, lungs burned. He ran through pain, through doubt, through fear. The finishing straight. The crowd roared. He saw Harper up on the barrier, waving, tears on her face. The last 10 meters. Lucas exhaled and crossed the line. 2nd place in his category. A berth at the national championship. He dropped to his knees, gasping. Harper pushed through the crowd, knelt beside him, hugged him. You did it, she whispered. You did it. Lucas hugged her back and didn't let go. People stood all around, volunteers, athletes, spectators. Some clapped, some took pictures. But Lucas saw only her. That evening they sat in their hotel room. A medal lay on the table, bronze, heavy. How do you feel? Harper asked. Wiped out. Happy? I don't know. That's normal. Lucas looked at her. Harper, I want to say something. What? He pulled a small box from his pocket, opened it. Inside a ring on a paracord. Harper froze. Lucas, I know it's odd. I know we've only been together half a year. But I also know that without you, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be alive. You saved me, not just the body. Me, and if you're willing to live with my nightmares, my setbacks, my doubts, I want to spend my life with you. Harper was silent. Tears ran down her cheeks. Is this a proposal? Yes. Don't drift with me. She laughed through tears. Always. He slipped the ring onto her finger. She pressed herself to him. They sat that way for a long time, quiet, tight, together. Outside, the sky darkened. The Arizona sunset burned red and orange. I love you, Lucas whispered. I love you too. A year later, Denver, Colorado. Lucas walked into the Veterans Affairs Center where he coached newcomers. A big hall, a pool, hand cycles, treadmills. Photos of athletes on the walls, quotes, medals. He stepped up to a group, 10 veterans, all with amputations or injuries. Some nervous, some broken, some angry. Good morning. My name is Lucas Bennett. I hit a mine in Afghanistan. I lost my left leg. I thought life was over. He paused, looked them over. But there's someone who wouldn't let me quit, who showed me that loss isn't an ending. It's the beginning of something else, and I'm here to show you the same. One of the vets, a young guy missing both legs, raised a hand. What if we can't? What if it's too hard? Lucas walked to him. Then we start small, one step, one swim, one day, but we do not quit, ever, because quitting is drifting, and we don't drift. He wrote 2 big letters on the whiteboard. Andy. That's our motto. Don't drift. When it's hard, remember these letters. When you think you cannot do it, remember. And know you are not alone. The group was quiet. Then the double amputee kid nodded. When do we start? Lucas smiled. Now. That evening, Lucas went home. A small house on the outskirts of Denver with a view of the mountains. Harper worked at a desk, papers, schematics, a laptop. How was your day? She asked without looking up. Good. Strong new group. I think 3 of them will make it to competition. Fantastic. He came over and kissed the top of her head. How about you? Finished the design for a new pediatric prosthesis. A 6-year-old boy, amputation after a car wreck. His parents want something bright so he won't be self-conscious. You're the best. I know. She smiled and closed the laptop. A cradle stood in the corner. Lucas walked over and peeked in. The baby slept 3 months old, dark hair, peaceful face. Has Bowie slept all day? He asked quietly. Almost. Woke up only to feed. Lucas gently lifted his son. The boy snuffled without waking. Harper came up and hugged Lucas from behind. What are you thinking about? About how I lay in a hospital and thought life was over. And now I'm holding my son, standing in a house with the woman I love, coaching people I can help, and I feel happy. You earned it. We earned it, together. She kissed his shoulder. On the wall above the cradle hung a yellow drawing, childish, messy. A boy in the sea, 2 figures on a raft, a shaky caption, "Don't drift." Lucas looked at it, holding his son. Harper stood beside him. Outside, the sun slid behind the mountains. The light was golden and warm. The storm had long since passed. But the course they held together carried them on through darkness, through pain, through doubt, to a place where loss becomes strength, where an ending becomes a beginning, where 2 hearts beat in one rhythm. Don't drift. Never. The end. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out, because this one is nothing compared to what's next. If you are under 18, do not even think about clicking next.